Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. Let's get lost in some truly profound writing. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a powerful and, frankly, a really unsettling poem, Vultures, by the incredible Chinua Achebe. Now, for those of you maybe less familiar, Chinua Achebe was, well, a giant of Nigerian literature, most famous probably for his novel Things Fall Apart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Huge figure. And he wasn't just telling stories, was he? He strongly believed art should serve a purpose.
Yeah.
Hold a mirror up.
Exactly. His writing often explored Africa's transition, the complexities there, but also just the deep, often contradictory nature of people.
Human nature itself.
And Vultures, specifically, this poem came out of a really difficult time. Achebe wrote it having been deeply affected by the Biafran Civil War in Nigeria.
A truly horrific conflict, unimaginable suffering. And you can feel that backdrop, that questioning of how humans could be so cruel.
Right. He was grappling with that very question, how is this possible? So our mission today really is to unpack how Achebe uses this incredibly vivid, sometimes shocking imagery and these stark contrasts.
These juxtapositions, yeah.
To explore how love, or something like it, can exist right alongside immense evil within us. It's maybe uncomfortable, but important.
Definitely important.
Okay, so to really get a feel for it, let's start by hearing the poem read out. Try to listen closely to the words, the images, and, the feelings that come up. My gurness, in the grayness and drizzle of one despondent, dawn unstirred by harbingers, of sunbreak a vulture perching high, unbroken, bone of a dead tree, nestled close to his mate, his smooth. Bashed in head, a pebble, on a stem rooted in, a dump of gross, feathers inclined affectionately to hers. Yesterday they picked the eyes of a swollen corpse and waterlogged trench and ate the things in its bowel. Full, gorged they chose their roost, keeping the hollowed remnant in easy range of cold, telescopic eyes. Strange, indeed, how love, in other ways so particular, will pick a corner. Onion, that charnel house, tidy it in coil up there, perhaps, even fall asleep her face, turned to the wall. Thus the commandant at Belsen, camp going home for, this champ going home for his tender offspring, waiting at home for daddies. Return, praise bounteous providence, if you will. That grants even an ogre, a tiny glowworm. Tenderness encapsulated in icy caverns of a cruel heart or else despair. For in the very germ of that kindred love is lodged the perpetuity and even... Wow, okay, that poem, it really does leave a mark, doesn't it? So it sinks in.
Oh, absolutely. It's visceral.
What's the very first thing that hits you, that initial feeling, the mood, right from those opening lines, that grayness and drizzle? It's not exactly cheerful.
No, not at all. What's striking is how immediately Achebe just plunges you into this atmosphere of utter bleakness, hopelessness almost.
Yeah, despondent dawn.
Exactly. Words like grayness, drizzle, broken bone of a dead tree.
It's not just describing a scene, it's painting a mood, a whole worldview,
Unstirred by harbingers of sunbreak.
Yeah.
Like no hope coming.
Precisely. It sets this really somber, deeply unsettling stage right away. You feel that damp, that chill, that lack of promise.
And the vultures themselves, even before we know what they did yesterday, the description is pretty jarring. Smooth, bashed-in head, dump of gross feathers.
He doesn't pretty them up, does he? It's deliberately repulsive imagery.
Yeah, it makes you recoil almost instantly. No noble creature here? No, it's raw. Unromanticized. He wants you to see them as scavengers, emphasizing their function. That bashed-in head, it suggests something hardened, maybe brutalized by existence.
Ugly, really.
And gross feathers. It just hammers home the physical unpleasantness, which makes what comes next even more, well, shocking.
Right, because this is where it gets really, really interesting and deeply uncomfortable. You have these, as you said, repulsive birds, but then nestled close to his mate, inclined affectionately to hers. How do you even put those two things together, especially when he immediately follows it with, yesterday they picked the eyes of a swollen corpse.
And ate the things in its bowel.
Yeah.
It's that juxtaposition that's just so stark.
How do we make sense of that tenderness right after that?
Well, that's the core question, isn't it? Achebe throws this massive paradox at us. These creatures, driven by gruesome, necessary instinct for survival.
Just doing what vultures do.
Right, it's biology. But they still show this intimacy, this personal affection. They're full gorge, still keeping an eye on the leftovers, basically.
Cold, telescopic eyes, yeah.
And yet, they're nestled close. It's warmth right next to this cold, brutal efficiency. It's profoundly unsettling because it mixes categories we like to keep separate.
So it's like even in a charnel house, a place just full of death,
Literally a house of flesh or corpses.
love, or this version of it, finds a corner, tidies it up, coils up there, almost like it's trying to make a little pocket of comfort.
Exactly. And that line, perhaps even fall asleep, her face turned to the wall. That's fascinating.
What do you make of that, the face turned to the wall?
It suggests kind of willful ignorance, maybe, or perhaps self-protection. Like, in this horrific place, love itself has to turn away, shield itself from the grim reality it's part of.
So it's not a pure triumphant love, it's
Yeah.
compromised,
Yeah.
vulnerable.
Very vulnerable, fragile, almost hiding in the face of the horror. It hints that this tenderness might be small, maybe even insignificant, compared to the surrounding brutality. It's already stained.
Okay, so we have this paradox in the Vultures, this instinctive creature. But then Achebe pivots, doesn't he? He uses that word thus, like in the same way,
It's a crucial bridge.
and brings in the commandant at Belsen camp. Now, for our listeners, Belsen was a Nazi concentration camp in World War II, a place of just unimaginable horror.
Unspeakable atrocities, starvation, disease, mass death.
So what's Achebe doing by drawing this direct line from the Vultures to this human commandant? It feels like a huge leap, but also chillingly direct.
It is a huge leap, and that's the power of it. He's forcing us to confront a terrifying possibility about ourselves, about human nature.
Which is?
That the capacity for the most profound evil can exist side by side with, well, ordinary human affection. The commandant responsible for these horrors in that line, fumes of human roast clinging rebelliously to his hairy nostrils.
God, that image.
It's stomach-churning. It implies the stench of his work literally follows him, sticks to him. Yet this same man stops on his way home,
At the sweet shop.
stops at the sweet shop to buy chocolate for his tender offspring. He's a father, possibly a loving one in that context.
A monster at work, a dad at home.
And that's where the comparison gets even sharper. The Vultures, as we said, act on instinct, survival. Their cruelty is biological necessity.
Right.
But the commandant's cruelty, that's human, that's chosen. It's systematic ideological hatred and dehumanization. It's not instinct, it's a product of human systems and choices.
Yet he can still perform this act of fatherly tenderness.
Exactly. Achebe is hitting hard at this idea that evil isn't always some separate monstrous thing over there. It can be compartmentalized. It can live inside someone who also participates in mundane, even loving domestic life. It's that banality of evil idea, isn't it? Horrific acts carried out by people who seem, in other parts of their lives, terribly ordinary.
And that detail, waiting at home for daddy's return, it makes it so normal, so domestic, which makes the whole thing even more chilling somehow.
It absolutely does. It dissolves the comfortable distance we might want to put between ourselves and such figures. It suggests this terrible dichotomy isn't confined to monsters. It's a human potential.
What about that word rebelliously? The fumes clinging rebelliously. What does that suggest?
That's such a powerful word choice. It implies, maybe, that the horror can't be fully contained or washed away. That the evidence of his deeds literally clings to him, resisting his attempt to just switch roles.
Like it's fighting against his normalcy.
Perhaps. Or maybe it suggests an internal conflict he's unaware of. Or maybe it just highlights the sheer, inescapable foulness of his actions, staining even his return home. Does it bother him? Or is he numb to it? The word leaves that ambiguity, which is maybe the point.
So we see this pattern, this disturbing coexistence, first in nature, then horrifically amplified in humanity. What's the bottom line here? What's Achebe ultimately saying about us, about this mix of love and evil?
I think he's pointing to something deeply ingrained and deeply troubling. He shows this tiny glowworm tenderness, that little spark of affection. Can exist, yes, but it's encapsulated in icy caverns of a cruel heart.
The tiny light in a huge, cold darkness.
A very small light. And unlike the vulture's instinct, the human cruelty here is deliberate, conscious. It's tied to war, to ideology, to choices.
And then that ending, it feels incredibly bleak.
It is bleak. Or else despair, for in the very germ of that kindred love is lodged the perpetuity of evil.
The perpetuity of evil, meaning it lasts forever.
Perpetuity suggests endlessness, permanence, and lodged, like it's stuck right in there, embedded, and in the very germ.
The seed, the starting point.
Exactly, the origin. He's suggesting something truly radical and disturbing, that the very capacity we have for kindred love, for family bonds, for affection, that very thing might also be the place where evil finds its permanent foothold, its lasting power.
So love doesn't conquer evil, it coexists with it, or even enables it somehow.
Or at least the capacity for one is inextricably linked to the capacity for the other. That evil isn't just an absence of good, but something woven into the very fabric of our ability to connect. It's a tough message. It challenges easy optimism. It suggests this shadow is always with us, tied to the light.
And the way the poem is written, the free verse, the short lines, the indentations, like strange indeed, does that structure help deliver this message?
Oh, absolutely. The form mirrors the content, I think.
Yeah.
It's fragmented, unpredictable. There's no smooth, comforting rhythm or rhyme scheme.
It feels jarring, like the ideas themselves.
Exactly. The line breaks often force you to pause, to absorb a shocking image or contrast, like cold telescopic eyes or separating Daddy's return. It breaks the flow, mimics the fragmented psyche, the disconnect he's describing. It prevents you from just reading past the horror. It makes you confront it piece by uncomfortable piece.
Yeah, you can't settle into it.
No, it keeps you off balance, which is perfect for the subject matter.
Okay, so wrapping this up, this deep dive into Achebe's Vultures, it really forces you, doesn't it, to look at that unsettling idea, love and truly terrible evil existing side by side, in the same creature, the same person.
Whether it's the vulture acting on instinct or the commandant making deliberate choices, that duality is right there.
And the poem, with its raw images and honesty, it really challenges you to think about human nature, maybe even to despair, as he says. That idea that the germ of kindred love might also hold the perpetuity of evil, it's a heavy thought.
It is. It leaves you pondering.
Achebe presents that choice. Praise bounteous providence, or else despair. If even the ogre has that tiny glowworm tenderness, but that very capacity for connection is where evil is perpetually lodged.
Huh?
What does that mean for us? Are we just stuck in this contradiction?
Does knowing this give us a responsibility?
Yeah, a responsibility to understand it, to maybe try and counteract it somehow within ourselves and the world. It leaves you with big questions.
Definitely questions that stay with you long after you finish reading.
Well, that's all for today's deep dive. We hope exploring Vultures has given you something to think about, a new perspective perhaps. Let us know what you thought. Hit like for the poem that speaks to you, and subscribe for the ones yet to come.